Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks. I know you guys are eagerly waiting for the Redmi Note 7 Pro videos, so in this one, I will compare its cameras with the ones on the Redmi Note 6 Pro. One of the major changes in the Note 7 Pro compared to the Note 6 Pro are the cameras, both the number and quality. Its primary camera now uses a 48 megapixel Sony IMX 586 sensor with f1.8 aperture, and each individual pixel has a size of 0.8 micron. With pixel binning, we get 12 megapixel images and effective size of each individual pixel comes to 1.6 micron. Secondary camera has a 5 megapixel depth sensor with f2.4 aperture. Note 6 Pro comes with a 12 megapixel primary camera with f1.9 aperture, and its each individual pixel has a size of 1.4 micron. Secondary camera has a 5 megapixel depth sensor with f2.2 aperture. Both the phones have dual LED flash, and none of these cameras have optical image stabilization. At the front, Note 6 Pro comes with a dual camera setup, where the primary camera has a 20 megapixel sensor with f2.0 aperture, and the secondary camera got a 2 megapixel depth sensor with f2.2 aperture. On the Note 7 Pro, we now only get a single front-facing camera which has a 13 megapixel sensor. Note 7 Pro can shoot 4K 30fps videos right out of the box, which the Note 6 Pro still can't. Both these phones do get electronic stabilization to keep the video stable. Now there is one major issue with the Note 7 Pro when it comes to video recording. I will let you guys know more about it when we look at the video samples from both the phones later on in this video. Camera interface is pretty similar on both the phones. Only difference on the Note 7 Pro is the addition of 48 megapixel option in the Auto and Pro mode. Both the Note 6 Pro and 7 Pro have manual camera modes, and they let you adjust various settings like white balance, focus, shutter speed, and ISO according to your liking. On the Note 6 Pro, range of the shutter speed is from 1,000th of a second to 1/8th of a second, and ISO range is from 100 to 3200. On the Note 7 Pro, range for the shutter speed is from 1,000th of a second all the way up to 32 seconds, and the range of ISO is same as that on the Note 6 Pro, that is from 100 to 3200. Now before moving on to the image and video samples, if you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. That way, you won't miss out on any of the amazing videos coming up on this channel. As always, we will start with the daylight images. In these lighting conditions, both the phones capture a lot of details. Images are sharp, look good overall, and have a good amount of contrast in them. Looking at these well-lit images, it is hard to tell which one captures more details right away. You need to zoom in a bit to see that the Note 7 Pro is capturing slightly more details. Colors are also fairly accurate from both the phones in most lighting situations. Red color is a bit tricky for most of the cameras to represent accurately, but the Note 7 Pro did well and captured the actual color of the flower, whereas the Note 6 Pro captured a bit harsh pinkish looking color. I shot all images with the AI scene detection mode turned on, and it seems to be a bit more aggressive on the Note 6 Pro. All of its images show more contrast and saturated colors compared to the Note 7 Pro. There is a very slight change in the way both capture colors, and which one you like will depend on your color preference. Between these images, I prefer the one from the Note 7 Pro in terms of colors, because it is showing the actual magenta color of the sky which was there, whereas the AI mode on the Note 6 Pro tried to change it to a normal blue colored sky. Now I am not saying that one image is better than the other, because really there is very little difference in terms of details that both have captured. I just prefer the colors and look of the image from the Note 7 Pro. While the Note 7 Pro takes 12 megapixel images by default, you can actually use the 48 megapixel mode to take larger images, and here is a side-by-side comparison of both. You will not notice a huge difference in these images right away, and even as I zoom in, 48 megapixel images are just a hair sharper and a bit more detailed. Now you might hear 48 megapixels and expect some groundbreaking results, but that is not the case, because having 48 million pixels on a half-inch sensor means each pixel is much smaller and receives very less light. So the 12 megapixel images on the Note 7 Pro use pixel binning. That is, it combines information from 4 pixels into 1 pixel, so those images are just as detailed and a bit more sharper compared to the 48 megapixel ones. You can obviously zoom in on the 48 megapixel image a lot more, so unless you are shooting a lot of landscapes, I will suggest you to shoot in the default 12 megapixel mode on the Note 7 Pro. Here are two images without the HDR mode turned on. Both phones show good dynamic range by default, but with the HDR mode turned on, results are even better. Both bring up lot of information from shadows while trying to preserve the highlights. And with the HDR mode turned on, details in the shadows from the Note 7 Pro are more compared to the Note 6 Pro, which you can see as we zoom in on this part of these images. I have kept the HDR on auto mode for rest of my shots, and in this condition, both of them fired the HDR mode, which is good. Image from the Note 6 Pro is brighter of the two, but it also captured a lot of noise in the shadows and the sky. On top of that, it also messed up the white balance of the entire shot and made it a bit bluer. At the same time, image from the Note 7 Pro captured more pleasing colors, and it also managed to capture less noise overall. Again, both were set to Auto HDR, but for this image, Note 7 Pro switched to the HDR mode while the Note 6 Pro didn't, so its image is showing much less details in the shadows or the darker parts, and you can see those parts clearly in Note 7 Pro's image. Here's a quick focusing speed test before we move on to the close-up and macro shots. Note 6 Pro is just a fraction faster at switching the focus from far to near objects, but the difference is so little that most average users won't even notice it. Once they set the focus on a nearby object, both can take really good close-up and macro shots. Note 7 Pro has f1.8 aperture as opposed to f1.9 on the Note 6 Pro. Not only that, but the 7 Pro also has a larger physical sensor, so the background in its close-up shots is blurred out a bit more. You can also notice a bit more noise in the background of the Note 6 Pro's images. All things like blurrier background and less noise in the background is nice to have, but just looking at these images on a smartphone, can you honestly tell the difference without zooming in or pixel peeping? Now that has been the whole point until now. Images from the Note 7 Pro are sharper and more detailed, but you have to look really hard to actually make out the difference. Let us check out a few portrait and low light shots to see if the Note 7 Pro can pull ahead there. I have been saying this for some time that Xiaomi has got really good at the portrait game. Just look at how well both the phones detected the edges and separated me from rest of the background. There is a slight shift in the way both phones process these portrait shots. Note 6 Pro adds a bit warmer colors in the portrait shots, and the Note 7 Pro tries to keep the colors as close to actual scene as possible. Background in the images from the Note 6 Pro has almost same amount of blur all around, while the Note 7 Pro now tries to apply a linear blur where a far away object is blurred out more compared to the near object. You can of course also take portrait mode images with the beauty mode turned on both these cameras. Although I don't like to take images with the beauty mode turned on because the overall images are a lot softer, but if you like it, you have that option. On both these phones, you can also change the amount of blur to the background and also add various light trail and studio lighting effects to these portrait shots even after you have clicked them. Just head over to the gallery, select one of the portrait shots that you clicked with the rear camera and tap on this shutter-like icon to get to these lighting effects. This only works for portrait mode images clicked with rear camera, and you don't get these settings for portrait selfies, so keep that in mind. You can also take portrait mode images of non-human subjects. Again, both the phones are very good at detecting the edges of these objects as well. And as you can see, Note 7 Pro applied a linear blur to the background, whereas the Note 6 Pro applies equal blur to all the out of focus areas. In this shot, Note 7 Pro did a better job of isolating the water wheel since I tapped on it to keep it in focus. But the Note 6 Pro tried to keep the whole water hose in focus, which is not what I was going for. Alright, now coming to indoor and artificial lighting conditions. Note 6 Pro's image is brighter, but the one from the Note 7 Pro has much less noise overall, and its image is also sharper and handles the exposure from lights better. We have somewhat similar lighting conditions in this image, and again, Note 6 Pro's image is brighter, but Note 7 Pro image is sharper with less noise. In this one, Note 6 Pro's image is darker to compensate for the brighter light from outside, but it still captures much more noise in the darker parts, while the Note 7 Pro exposed properly and it again has less overall noise. Here, as we zoom in on this part, you can read the text on the box in Note 7 Pro's image, but the text in Note 6 Pro's image is not as clear. And to remind you again, all of these are just 12 megapixel images from the Note 7 Pro. Here is one big tip. Please don't use 48 megapixel mode in lower light, as it ends up capturing a lot of noise since each pixel is smaller and gathers very less light. Now coming to even lower lighting situations. In these images, we can clearly see that everything Note 7 Pro captured is sharper and much more detailed with less noise. And not only that, you can also see how well it handles the light from the exit sign. While the image from the Note 6 Pro is a bit softer, and it just blows up the highlights from that board and other lights as well. This image is not particularly great from both the phones. There are not a lot of details, and both capture a lot of noise. On the Note 7 Pro, you now get night mode, which comes in very handy in these situations. This image is also not the best looking, but it is so much better than the one from the Note 6 Pro, or even compared to the one from the Note 7 Pro without the night mode. Since the night mode on the Note 7 Pro doesn't take too long to capture, you don't have to hold the phone steady for a long time, so I ended up using it more often. Here are a few more night mode images from the Note 7 Pro compared against the low light images from the Note 6 Pro. As you can see, night mode on the Note 7 Pro makes a significant difference, and it also handles the exposure from the lights much better. Here's a close-up shot in lower light. Note 6 Pro captures a lot of noise, and even with dual pixel autofocusing, finds it difficult to set its focus on the glass. Note 7 Pro on the other hand has a larger sensor, wider aperture, and it also uses pixel binning, so each individual pixel in the 12 megapixel mode captures more light, resulting in lower noise and better overall images. Here are a few low light images without the night mode on the Note 7 Pro. And even here, it shows more details than the Note 6 Pro. In this image, I just pointed both cameras to these lights and snapped a photo. This time you guys tell me in the comments which one looks better. That brings us to the front-facing cameras. Xiaomi went from 20 megapixel selfie camera on the Note 6 Pro to a 13 megapixel selfie camera on the Note 7 Pro. And in some of these images, the dip in resolution is visible. Note 7 Pro handles the colors and dynamic range better, but the overall selfies from the Note 6 Pro are a bit sharper in comparison. You also see more light in Note 6 Pro's selfies, and again, selfies from the Note 7 Pro are a lot softer. You have the option of taking portrait selfies on both. Note 6 Pro uses a secondary depth sensor to help separate the subject from background, while the Note 7 Pro relies on single camera and software to separate the subject from background, and frankly, there is barely any difference in the two. You might think that the Note 6 Pro with its dual cameras will take much better portrait selfies, but that is not the case. As before, faces are a bit softer in the selfies from the Note 7 Pro, but I don't see any big difference in the edge detection of both. Here's a video from the front-facing camera of the Redmi Note 6 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro. You can see how both these phones are handling the overall colors of the scene, exposure, and stabilization when I'm walking around with them. Coming to the video performance. Note 7 Pro is one of the first Redmi handsets which ships with 4K 30fps video recording out of the box. These videos are super saturated and they are not stabilized. There is a lot of information in each frame, but the video is very choppy at times. You can also shoot 1080p 60fps videos. While they are not as saturated as 4K videos, these also don't get electronic stabilization, and there is a bit of focus hunting in this mode. Here is a 1080p 30fps video sample from both the phones. Both of them offer electronic stabilization at this resolution. Remember at the beginning, I said that there are major issues with the Note 7 Pro when it comes to video performance. As you can clearly see, its videos are extremely choppy and drop a lot of frames. This happens at any resolution and in any lighting conditions while you are capturing videos with the native or stock camera app. This problem is not there when shooting videos with third-party camera apps. But if you use a third-party camera app, you don't get electronic stabilization for some reason. So I suggest, until Xiaomi releases a fix with software update, you can use third-party camera app to record videos and use the editor in the Google Photos app to stabilize those videos. Results are not perfect, but those videos look much better than the choppy videos that this phone currently captures. So even if the Note 7 Pro can shoot 4K videos, in its current state, I would say videos from the Note 6 Pro are much better. With that, we come to the conclusion. Note 7 Pro definitely takes better images of the two, especially in lower light. But in most of the cases, it is really hard to tell the difference between the two images, especially if you are looking at these images on a smartphone. What I am trying to say is, if you are looking to get a new phone with a good set of cameras, then definitely go with the Note 7 Pro. But if you are using the Note 6 Pro and wondering if you should upgrade to the Note 7 Pro just for the cameras, then I would have to ask you guys to hang on to your Note 6 Pro for a bit longer. It is less than 6 months old, and trust me, it can still take really good images. And for shooting videos, in the current state, it is much better than the Note 7 Pro, even if you can't record in 4K. Don't you agree? After looking at these image and video samples, do you think the cameras on the Note 7 Pro are worth the upgrade from the Note 6 Pro? Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you are still confused or don't like my analysis of these images, you can just go back, mute the video and watch it in the highest resolution that you can and draw your own conclusions that way. If you are looking to buy any of these phones, it would mean a lot to me if you get them from the affiliate links in the description section. This will help the channel out at no extra cost to you. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.